Hey everyone, I'm Nick and welcome to the channel. Now, if you've been following my projects, you'll have seen this car in the background for quite a while now. I was initially planning on rebuilding it, but it was in way worse condition than expected and other projects kept coming and going, and this got pushed onto the back burner. Since then, I also got my yellow Mini, which is in way better shape, so I don't really have a use for this one anymore. So it's gonna be time to say goodbye, but before we do that, I wanna pull off the Supercharger to keep it as a spare, and the transmission. And it'll be good practice for when I need to do some work on my yellow Mini too. So let's get started. Now to get to the Supercharger, we're going to remove the radiator assembly, which is the radiator and condenser. And to do that, we have to drain the coolant. Now I've already removed the bumper, and this crash bar is actually the one that came off of this Mini, right? Because surprisingly, the one on this car was in better shape, so I put it on there. Now the first step is going to be to drain the coolant out of the radiator. And to do that, we have to drain it from the coolant hose that joins the radiator over here. So I've got a bucket here to catch the coolant, if there is any left in there. And yeah, so I'm just gonna have to reach in there and get that hose off. There's a hose clamp here. Hopefully I can get a, oh, it's very rusty, how nice. Honestly, I don't know if there's any coolant in here. Well, certainly not much. Because this is empty, and honestly, considering the condition of the radiator, it might have all leaked out already. So I think since it doesn't look very full and potentially empty, we might as well just start pulling parts off, which will give us better access, especially since most of this is damaged beyond repair and won't be used as spares. It doesn't really matter. I already checked to see if there was any gas in the condenser and AC system, and that's empty too, most likely because the condenser's crushed. So we don't have to worry about that either. All right, let's get these off. I detailed the process on getting this off on my other car. I'll put the link right here if you want to check it out. So this whole radiator assembly will just come out here, except we have an oil cooler right here that goes around it. So we need to keep that in mind too. And it's zip tied over here. All right, I may need to take these bars out. So I'm gonna remove these bars. They're held in with two 16mm bolts there. And same thing on this side. With those out of the way, we'll be able to pull this forward and get to the engine. These look like they might have already been replaced, which means they're not seized in, which is nice. Yeah, I think the support bolts here too. Now, how do I get this oil cooler out, which runs through the part? I guess I might have to just unbolt it, unscrew it or something. Use my Knipex pliers wrenches. Shout out to Knipex for hooking me up with these. They're great. I'm gonna unscrew this and hopefully not make a mess. You know what I think happened to this car? They put an oil cooler to try to keep the engine cooler, but they never tuned it when they put a pulley on it. So it ran hot, leaned out, and blew up. Don't do that. Make sure you have a tune, maybe bigger injectors, so you don't destroy your engine when you add power. Good, there's no oil in here. I took the wrong side off. Oh well. All right, we'll feed this through here. Ooh, there's a little bit of oil in there. All right, take this off. Oh yeah, all right, and I forgot the part where we still have to disconnect other stuff, like horn, signals and stuff. Now to disconnect the radiator, which I guess we can do here. These rusty clamps, they will come apart, which they will. That's good. Good sign. And we'll leave that on for now. Get our two AC hoses disconnected. I think these are 10s. Bone dry. There's basically no planning on this assembly on this radiator because the bottom clamp is not in an accessible position. I don't know why they did this. So I guess I'm just gonna take this clamp off here, which is also not in a good position. Wow. Once we unhook this AC pipe, get this out of the way. There's an extra sensor here that I gotta unscrew. Of course, it's rusted to it. Oh, there's a connector right here. Just zip tied, as it could be. This is in great shape. So now we have a really good view of the engine. We've got the supercharger, the alternator, the AC compressor, our intake path, which you can see comes in from here, into the supercharger, back out here through the intercooler and into the intake. Now we're gonna take this supercharger off. And one thing to note about it is that right here is the water pump. So the belt drive is over here, and then there's a shaft on the back that the water pump connects to. So when you service your supercharger, you can also service your water pump. So if you have a water pump issue, you could take care of your supercharger too while you're in there. Oh, interesting. 270607. This might have been replaced already. Interesting. Which might mean it's the updated version, because this is 04 and it's the pre-facelift, and the facelift cars in 05 and later had a coating on the rotors in the supercharger. So when we take this off, we'll find out. Now, one thing we need to do is remove the belt. And for that, we need our special tool. Our tensioner is back here, and you can see the spring down there. And this is gonna be the pivot point we're gonna use with our tool. So this part hooks on right here, and then these two right here hook on down there, in that area there. I almost forgot, you also have to remove the grounding strap and this little part right here so that there's enough room for the tool. Now this pin can be used to lock the tensioner in place. So further back, it's actually pretty tough to do. Get the belt off. And since we got coolant hose right here we can undo as well. And I guess that could all come out together. It's not really a huge deal. We'll have to take this off too. Five millimeter Allen key. Oh, there's a lot of oil in that in here. Maybe I have to disconnect the throttle body too. This thing is in terrible shape. Let's get these bolts out of the throttle body. Again, since this car is not going back on the road, I'm going a little faster and I'm slightly less careful, but I will be doing all this again much more carefully on the other car. Oh, geez, there's... What is that? Coolant in the intake? Ooh, this... Maybe this engine blew a head gasket, actually. Smells like oil and coolant, maybe? Hey, what is this? Yeah, it's coolant. Okay. Another hint as to why this car was taken off the road. Now we're going to take the supercharger off. Once we unbolt it, it'll just come straight out, which I think is this. We need this because that's the dipstick. And then these two, and one down here. Maybe this too from the alternator. Let's see what size these are. 13s. I don't know if this is gonna get in the way. Maybe I'll just take it out all the way. This is 16. I'll leave this in here so it doesn't just fall out. We're gonna remove the bolt on the end here. Oh, okay. Careful, that's the part of the tensioner. And we'll take the alternator off. Get this out, and I think it will come off. Back here and there, there's a hose. The clamp we gotta get out right there. And then we are gonna take out the dipstick right here. So let me get this unclipped from there. Oh, right. Probably helped if I had remove the dipstick ahead of time. Let's get this hose off. So back here, there are two 10s, 8s? 8s, yeah. Water pump to the block. So we gotta get those off too. Oh, shoot. Yeah, you definitely want to make sure this is blocked here. Oh, I guess it wasn't. Cool. That was in here. It was red, but I'm not sure what it was. Well, you'd want to block the dipstick hose if your engine was good and you plan on reusing it. So, it's not this engine. Oh, there's that hose back there. There we go. Now let's take a look at the supercharger. Looks okay. It's a little, oh yeah, there's damage there. That's not ideal. But it is coated, which is nice, but it did suffer a little bit. It's smooth, but something definitely caused problems right here. All right, pop this back on to keep it clean or cleaner. Now I have a spare supercharger ready to go, sort of. We'll have to see if the rotors actually need to be recoated, replaced, or what. I'll have to take a closer look and figure that out. But we have one, and that is good. And you might have also noticed this is a smaller pulley than stock, and possibly one of the reasons the car blew up. And we can keep going. The next step is going to be to remove this manual transmission. So if you want to see that, be sure to subscribe. I wonder what kind of weird stuff we're going to find when we're pulling this out. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and to hype it. And if you have any ideas about what that red fluid was that came out of the supercharger intake, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.